Hey guys, so I have an Alphonse Mucha makeup tutorial for you guys today. Alphonse Mucha is definitely my favorite artist, and his art style, Art Nouveau, is my favorite art style. So I just want to do something that is inspired by him. My lady doesn't look super Alphonse Mucha-y, but she's still cute. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first thing I'm doing is I am sketching out the style or the layout that I want for my thing. So I'm sketching out the circle in the background, my lady's face, her dress, the two sidearm things, and I am looking at reference when I'm doing this. I'm not really copying any specific Mucha painting. I'm kind of combining a couple. Once I get done roughly sketching everything out, I am starting to mix a skin tone together for her face and her hands. So the two paints that I'm mixing are Phthalo, I think it is the Maybelline paint in Phthalo, and white, and I'm just getting this pale skin tone shade. And each time I spread the paint out with a brush, I go in with my sponge and it just gets a more even application of color. Now we're going to start shading the face. So to do that, I am taking the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette, and I'm taking the shade All Heart. It's just a mauve shade. It's a cool tone brown, and I'm starting to shade wherever I think there would be shadow on the face. So around the hair, on the bottom part of the nose, eye sockets. To get a little bit more depth to the skin, I added some blue. So I took Doom from the Pastel Goth palette, and I just added that to a couple areas of shading. And then I took Java from the Naturally Pretty palette, and I started to really deepen up around the eyes and where the nostrils would be and everything. So I'm just starting to gradually build up definition to the face. Y'all know I love some rosy cheeks and a little rosy nose, so I took some a peach shade from the Sephora watercolor palette and added that to the cheeks and the nose. Then I took the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer, and I'm starting to really add on these highlights. I like to gradually do this, so I go down with the foundation mixer first, and it's just really starting to brighten up some highlights on the face and the eyelids and the cheekbones, and just wherever highlights would hit. Then I'm going in with the white paint from Maybelline, and I'm starting to do the white part of the eye. So I'm just filling it in, and I'm leaving that iris bare so that I can put a light blue paint down. For the waterline of the eye, I mixed a Maybelline paint in a peach shade and some white, and I just basically outlined the bottom part of that eye, just very thin, light peach outline. My girl needed a mouth, so I took the NYX Ultimate Brights palette, and I took a dark red shade from that, and I just created a mouth for her. So I did an upper lip and a bottom lip, and she is starting to look like Grumpy Cat in all seriousness. She really does look like the person version of Grumpy Cat. But anyway, I took some black eyeshadow and I lined the upper part of the lid, and then I took my dark brown Maybelline paint and I created some nostrils on her, and then her nostril folds on the side of the nostrils. I also did an outline for that with brown paint. Also, with the brown paint, I am just outlining her lid folds. Just doing a little outline there, and then we're taking the white Maybelline paint, and I'm starting to add some highlights to the nose, because highlights are my favorite thing ever. I feel like highlights just fix everything. At least for me, they do. So I'm doing an highlight right above her nostrils on her nose, and then also starting to add a little highlight underneath her eyes. I'm also blending that out a little bit because it looks intense. And then I put a highlight next to her nostrils, the outer part. I don't know if there's a highlight there, but I like to add a highlight there. And this is a NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner, and I am just adding a little bit more of an outline to those lid folds. It's in Hazy, by the way. And this is the Blue Milk Liner from Lime Crime. I'm adding a little bit of highlights to the eyes and just starting to build up the definition there. Y'all know when I pull out the NYX White Liquid Liner, I mean business with these highlights, because it's just it's my favorite for highlights. But I just add a little bit of highlights to the lid. I'm going back in other areas. But then I went into Cherish. It's a NYX Lip of the Day liner, and I added a little bit of shininess to the waterline and the lips. I really like eyes looking real teary and shiny, and just highlighted. I also went back in with that NYX White Liquid Liner, added a little bit more to the waterline, a little bit more highlights, and then I went in with a black shadow, and I started to add a little bit of intense shading around the face, and gave my girl some eyebrows because she desperately needed them, and a chin. Again, taking hazy, and I'm just lining that lip, so I'm giving her a cupid's bow and a bottom lip. Then I took the white liquid liner again, and I'm starting to add a little bit more highlights. This next thing, this Smashbox Always On liquid liner, y'all do not even understand. Like, you're gonna see how good this is in this tutorial, but this is a fantastic liner, and I feel like it's really shown in this tutorial because it's so good. And I like used it for so many like things. But anyway, I started to outline the top part of the eyes, gave her some eyelashes, the iris, all of it, gave her bottom lashes. Yeah, I just used this to outline, and then I'm taking some more of that white and I'm adding some highlights to the eyes, like going into the iris, into the like inner corner of the eye. And then we're taking some of that NYX Pro Foundation mixer, and I'm adding a little bit of a highlight to the cupid's bow down the bridge of the nose, and some little swirlies because I like swirlies on the cheeks. It's just like it's like a style thing. Our girl desperately needed some nicer eyebrows, so I took that liquid liner again by Smashbox, and I'm just doing flicking motions, going like to the side and then going down where the arch is, just to give her a little bit more, you know, nicer, fluffier eyebrows. And then we are taking the pink paint from Mayron. I'm starting to color something other than the friggin' face. I'm doing like the background circle, and I'm avoiding those flowers. And I'm going to have this dark like pink shade fade into a lighter pink shade, which is the pink mixed with a little bit of white. And that's just basically what we're doing for that background circle. Each time I lay down paint, I'm going over it with my little tiny beauty blender because it just makes the color like spread more evenly. Every time I lay down paint, I normally go over it with like a corresponding eyeshadow. So I'm taking that Viseart Editorial Brights palette, and I took like the dark pink from it. I'm going over the dark pink of the background, and then I'm taking the lighter pink from it and going over the lighter pink of the background. This just helps like build up the color and just make it less patchy. Taking the Mayron light pink paint, I am mixing that with a little bit of white, and I am painting the different like the top section of the arm thing, and then the thing that's on the side of like this lady's sleeve. You'll see what I'm talking about. But that's fading into, it's going from like a light pink to an even lighter pink. Now for some clothes. So I took some of that Mayron yellow paint and I mixed it with a little bit of white, and I am just painting this lady's dress. I am avoiding her hand, because by the way, she's a hand, if you guys can't really see it if it's not in frame, and also her little bandana thing on her neck. But I am painting the little bandana thing on her head. At this point, guys, I'm basically just laying down color. So I am laying down the flowers as well. I'm just taking the like lilac-y paint. It's like a light purple. And I'm filling in some of those flowers, and I'm taking the teal paint mixed with some white, and I'm filling in some other flowers. My flowers are just basically like wiggly shapes. They're not the most like flowery looking things. They're just very basic. And then I'm filling in her bandana scarf thing with the dark yellow paint, and then once we've done that, we're filling in her hair with some black paint. And I'm just filling in the space that I sketched out for her hair. Once I get done filling it in just with like flat black, I go in and I start doing her little wispy curly hairs coming out, which if you can't tell are one of my favorite things to paint. So I'm just doing this with a really tiny brush, and they're just like cascading down her face. After the hair, I'm filling in that tree trunk with some light brown Mayron paint, and then once I get done that, I'm starting to add the folds to the dress. So I'm doing this with the NYX Ultimate Brights palette, and I'm taking a dark yellow shade from that, and I am just adding some like lines to like where her boobs would come out, where her dress would fold in and out, and you kind of have to like imagine it as fabric. So when I was like sketching out the lumps of the dress, I was imagining it as fabric, and you're just kind of doing the same thing when you're starting to shade it. Same thing with the bandana. I'm just imagining where there would be folds and where it would go out and then go in, because wherever it would go out and then wherever it would go out, it would go in afterwards. And that's just something to keep in mind with clothing. Once I get done that, I am taking the not NYX, it's the Cosmetics Soft Light shade from the Naturally Pretty palette. I'm just adding a little bit more definition to the folds and just around the dress. I'm just starting to really build it up and just really imagine it as a dress, which is kind of hard to do. But I also like things to be heavily highlighted and look shiny, even if they are a fabric dress. So I took the NYX Vivid Brights in Vivid Halo, and I'm adding some intense highlights because I just love highlights, you guys. But I'm just doing some like little lines and taps of that also to the bandana. Basically anything I do to the dress, I'm doing to the bandana as well. This next liner is from Absolute New York, and it's in like Lemon Drop or something. It's just like a very, very, very light yellow, so I'm just adding a little bit more intense highlights around the dress to really make it start like coming together. It's funny, while I was painting this, I was like, oh, this is a mess. Like, what are these folds? But they do start to come together towards the end. And again, to the bandana as well. This is the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer. More highlights. Your girl is highlight obsessed, and I'm just adding that to the dress and also to the hair, which painting black hair is really fun actually. So I'm just doing some lines, like some defined lines, and then just some shiny areas, because black you can't really see like the individual strands of hair. It's mostly just like shine. So it's really like easy and simple to paint. Then we are taking the white eyeshadow from the Editorial Brights palette by Busy Art, not Busy Art, and I'm adding some powder highlights. And then I took this Vivid Brights in, I don't remember, but I'll have it in the description box, by NYX, and I am adding some little highlights to the purple flowers, just like lines of highlights, and then taking Blue Milk from Lime Crime and adding some little highlights to the teal flowers, just lines of highlights. Now for some tree highlights, because trees need highlights too. So I'm taking some brown paint mixed with a little bit of white, and I'm just doing some like lines going throughout the trees, a little swirl in there. I'm doing that to each tree, and then I am taking some the peach paint or peach shade from the Sephora watercolor palette, and I'm adding some like pink to the hands and the knuckles of the hands. And this is a Kat Von D like mauve palette. It's a rose palette, and I'm just starting to add some definition to the hands and some shading around the hands and the sleeve and stuff. And this hand looks jacked up for a while, guys. I'm just warning you. Like, if you're like, girl, that hand looks jacked up, it does. But I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix that. So yeah, I also had some little highlights to the nails and the knuckles, and then I add some highlights to the flowers, because the flowers, it says, them need more highlights. Everything needs more highlights. You need more highlights. There's never enough highlights. This is where this Smashbox liner really, like, you can see how fantastic it is. So it's just like fantastic in general, but I was like, it really like saved me while I was painting this. It's just so easy to outline and like use it, control, and get thin lines and thick lines, and just look at that. Like, it's so good. It's so good just using it like this, and also in the eyes. This is a gold liner from NYX. I wanted like a little bit more of a metallic quality to my tree, because why not? I'm also going to add a little bit of gold to like the outline around the shape, so figured it would bring it together. Mucha has like a very outlined style, so I'm starting to outline the flowers as well. So considering I have a bunch of like floating ass flowers everywhere, I was like, I need some stems. So I mixed some green paint, some teal paint, and some white paint, and I just did these weird little wiggly stems. Listen, I know that they're really long. Like, it was a choice. Was it a good choice? I don't know. But it was a choice, and it's a choice, and I own up to that choice. So I'm just doing some like real long ass wiggly stems, and I kind of like how it turned out. I didn't outline these stems because I just wanted them to be kind of like background effects. I kind of regret not lining them though, because I really think the lines brought everything together. But anyway, then I added like some dots of liner just because I wanted it to look like there was like some more flowers going on back there, like an illusion of flowers and like texture to the areas of pink. Now to outline in gold. So the gold paint from Maybelline is kind of garbage, I'm not gonna lie. It's just very thin. That's kind of something that I've encountered though with lots of metallic paint, so maybe it's not really garbage. It's actually pretty common. So I went down first with some yellow paint mixed with some white to get like an opaque yellow outline, and then I went on top of that with the gold paint to give it like a more metallic look. This girl's thumb is looking real thin and weird, I swear, guys. I swear to God, I go back and fix it just later. I go back and fix it. And after I was done with these gold outlines, I said to myself, you know what these gold outlines need? They need some highlights. So I went in with my white liner and I just did some little taps of highlights. I also went in with the really light Absolute New York liner, did some little taps of highlights. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with highlights. I got problems. 14 minutes into this tutorial and we are finally moving on to the friggin' face. So this is the Tarte Shape Tape. I laid that down as a base. Then I took Sheer Joy from the Naturally Pretty palette, put that down to set it. Then I took Soulful from the Naturally Pretty palette and I went back and forth. I'm creating my crease like higher than it would be because I glued down my brows. Then I took No Filter from the Give Me Glow Cosmetics Stable palette and I just went back and forth with that to build it up. Then I went into Viseart Editorial Brights palette, took the pink shade, and I started to get like a more pinky look to the crease, and I flicked it up where like the eyebrows would be, because I wanted to match like the pink of the piece on the chest. This is Adorbs from the Give Me Glow palette. I just wanted to deepen up that crease color, and then I went in with the Tarte Shape Tape again to clean up the crease and make it a cut crease. After that, I took Dark As My Soul, and I wanted to really like smoke out that cut crease, so I am just putting like a really dark shade on the part where I cut the crease. And then I took the Pat McGrath La Vie en Rose palette, and I took the gold shade, which by the way is the best gold color that I've ever used in my whole life, and I laid that down on the inner part of the lid. And then I took the burnt terracotta Natasha Denona chrome lid topper thing. That's like quite a name. And I pat that down on top of gold. This is my Make Forever ink liner. I just did a cat eye, and then I did like this line going into the middle of the eye, and then I wanted to deepen it up, so I did that with some black eyeshadow. Now on to the face. So I put some foundation all over my face, and then I blended it out. Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. So I went underneath my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, forehead, chin, all over my face, and I just created a highlight with that, tapped it out with my beauty blender, and then I went into the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Duo, and I contoured my nose. I did that like just a V shape going down to the bridge or the end of my nose, and then I went down my cheeks and just like flicked it up. After that, I went in with my little tiny beauty blender and I tapped my nose out to blend it out, and then I went in with a MAC small stipple brush and I blended that cheek contour in upward circular motions. After that, I set my face. I'm doing this with the Wanderlust Wander Beauty Wanderlust powder, and then I took the new Becca Hydra Mist and Set, or whatever it's called, and I just highlighted my face with that. So I set like underneath my eyes, my nose, chin, forehead, and then we took the Viseart Editorial Brights palette and I took the pink shade and I just smeared that or smudged that underneath my eyes. Give Me Glow Cosmetics Staple Palette. So I went in with WCW and No Filter and mixed them together, and I just contoured my cheekbones with that, just going up and down, and then I took some, put it underneath my nose, underneath my lips, and then I went in with like a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and I took WCW and I just started to contour my nose with that. For blush, I use the Sigma blush in Heavenly. I've been like obsessed with this lately, but I put it on my cheeks, all over my cheeks, and then on my nose. I've been really liking that look lately. And then this is the Becca Light Chaser highlighter in Topaz Flashes with Guilt, and I put that on my cheekbones, nose, Cupid's bow. It's so pretty, you guys. Like, this is such a pretty highlight, and I think it's on sale on Sephora for like 18 bucks. So good. This is the Lorac lipstick in CEO. I just like smudged it out around my lips with my finger. And then I took the Give Me Glow Cosmetics palette again, and I took a mixture of No Filter and Adorbs, and I just like smudged that all around my mouth. And then I took the terracotta Natasha Denona chrome eye thingy and I put that on my mouth. And then these are some gold things that I cut just to look like real Art Nouveau, and I put like two on my eyebrows, and then I put some underneath my eyes. And that is the finished like makeup tutorial, you guys. So I really hope you guys like this. I felt so like mixed as to how I felt about how this look turned out, but I absolutely adore Mucha. He's like one of my favorite artists, and I just definitely suggest you guys check him out. If you guys like this video, subscribe. It makes me happy, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye!